Tuesday, July 28th at the Daily Words. And that's because for today, prose versus poetry. Now, we're familiar with this. Prose is something we see every day in written text, in books, even in somewhat in emails. It is a form of language based on grammatical structure and the natural flow of speech, sentences that build into paragraphs, etc., into chapters, and so forth. Poetry is more romantic. It typically contains a metrical scheme and often elements of rhyme, which is why we're honoring both an author known more for prose and then a poet you'll be surprised about. It is the birthday of children's author and illustrator Beatrix Potter, born Helen Beatrix Potter in London, England in 1866. You know her as the author of The Tale of Peter Rabbit, of Squirrel Nutkin, Tale of Benjamin Bunny, and then my favorite. Oh, I love Mrs. Tiggywinkle, the little hedgehog. I have a few more things, but I love Mrs. Tiggywinkle. There's something about her little smile. It makes me happy. Kind of looks like my dog when she gives me that certain look. It is also the birthday of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Now, she was born Jacqueline Bouvier in Southampton, New York in 1929, the eldest of two daughters, and she wrote poetry and essays as a child. Bet you didn't know that. In 1951, she entered Vogue magazine's contest, Prix de Paris, and the entrants were asked to design an entire issue of the magazine, as well as an advertising campaign, and write one essay on the subject, People I Wish I Had Known. She chose playwright Oscar Wilde, poet Charles Baudelaire, and Serge Diaghilev, which I don't say as well, the founder of the Ballet Russe. She won the contest, but because the part of her prize involved working in Paris for 6 months, her mother made her turn it down. Later, she worked as inquiring camera girl for the Washington Times-Herald, earning, a whopping $42.50 a week, where she was interviewing several politicians, including her future husband, John F. Kennedy. She never lost her love of poetry, even though her life took her way far from her early writing career. She did try to instill that love of writing and poetry in her children. Caroline and John Jr., every year, she was requiring of them to select a poem that they liked, copy it down, and present it to her on her birthday. She saved them in a scrapbook. Caroline later says, a diplomat and attorney that she became, that she carried on that tradition with her own children. I quote, "The things parents enjoy and care about really do get passed on," she told CBS, the early show. "I think both my parents really believed in the power of words to change the world. They thought it really helps people find their own way if they read and write and think about themselves and finding their voice. I think poetry has a great role to play and can really connect the generations." Well, that was from daughter Caroline, inspired by her mother, the poet, artist, and beyond, Jacqueline. So, prose versus poetry both contain words, and you have been watching the Daily Words. I hope to see you tomorrow. Till then, stay safe, stay sane, stay wordy.